Hello everyone and welcome to this newest edition of Adeptus Podcastus. This is Remleiz from 40k Theories alongside Michael from Tactica Imperialis and EgoQueenAlexis. So firstly, how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing A-okay.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good. So let's jump straight into the news, shall we? The big news. Necromunda coming back.
Oh, yeah, I thought the big news was the new RP game, but...
No, Necromunda's bigger. Necromunda's bigger.
It is. I'll give it that.
I admit, it's kind of good to get answers to that little sigil trailer thingamabob. Not what we thought it was going to be. Was it really, though?
It wasn't really that obvious. Not really.
We didn't get it.
Yeah,
none of us got it.
That was, like, the second I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's the Arbartes.
But it's not. The symbol of the Arbitraries is much more like a balance, like the balance of the scales.
It's the scales, yeah.
Yeah.
I also saw the lasgun and it was like, that's a sawed-off lasgun.
Where'd you see the
Were
lasgun?
we watching the same trailer?
I didn't even look at the trailer. I just looked at all the leaked pictures and I was just like, oh, this is Necromunda.
Yeah, but we're talking about the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh! I didn't actually watch it.
God damn it.
Oh, god damn it, Alexis.
What?
Yeah.
You just browse 4chan for a little bit and you find these things.
How long have we been recording? Like, less than 2 minutes, and you've already confused everyone.
Hey, it's just...
You?
Yeah. It is. I won't lie to that.
So yes, we have an answer on the Necromunda thingamabob, and I've never played Necromunda.
Deprived, child. Deprived. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, you are deprived.
As a result, I don't have any expectations. That's a good thing.
I'm liking the new Goliath models. Like, they're suitably, overly beefy, and I love the fact that one of them's got an eviscerator that's styled like a mohawk attached to a big skull. I love it. That was awesome.
Agreed. Now, as far as how it's going to play, I've heard tell, and I'm not going to say this is correct, that it's going to be based more on 8th rules than on Shadow Wars.
That's correct.
I've heard tell.
Yeah, they leaked that at the Forge World Open Day.
Ah.
Yep.
Good.
So, and also, all the gangs are coming as multi-part plastic kits, which is awesome for customization purposes. We've so far only seen Goliath and Escher, but I'm interested to see how they do the other gangs, in particular things like, say, House Delac, who are all bald with the trench coats and all that. Or the Ratskins.
I'm also interested to see how they're going to do the other, like, if there's newer races in this. Like, are they going to expand into, like, the more rare things from, like, Rogue Trader, like the Shahardin and things like that?
No, it's purely going to be human gangs.
I suspect
that's lame.
It's underhive gangs.
Yeah, I think the most deviant thing we'll get will be Scalies.
Yeah. The mutants and scavvy gangs, yeah. Because when they did the second edition of Necromunda, they did introduce a couple new gangs. They introduced the Arbites squads, which are actually fully-fledged gangs now rather than just scenario purposes. And they also introduced the Ash Nomads, who actually have vehicles.
Oh, interesting.
That seems weird and out of place for, like... I know it's not, but I've always seen, like, hype cities, and I've never imagined people, like, flying around in cars, even though they're really, really common.
Yeah.
Like, grav cars and things like that are really common in 40k.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Inquisitor Eisenhorn uses them all the time.
Yep.
I actually want to see if we'll get a new Cal Jericho model because of this. Because Cal Jericho was awesome.
I'm interested in what it's going to be like, and I'm hoping they keep expanding into Shadow War Armageddon, because I really like Shadow War Armageddon, although some of the races were arguably, like, ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, orcs. I hated them. Because there were just too many of them. They would just charge across the field and kill everything you had.
Yeah, I never bought into Shadow War. I tried it, but I didn't get any enjoyment out of it, so I'm glad that they're not going to play it that way.
It didn't feel right to me. Like, if it wasn't written badly or anything, it just didn't feel appropriate.
I really don't think, like, the Grey Knights needed a kill team. Like, I could not see that working. Like, hey, you five, go do this. It's just like, no, just get some stormtroopers to do that. That's what bugged me about it a little bit from a lore perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
We're going to send our most elite troops to go and do something. Why?
Or why would there be a kill team of a couple of Tyrannid warriors?
Instead of lictors.
Yeah.
Instead of lictors and gene stealers and gene stealer cults.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah, good idea, maybe not the best execution. A decent spiritual successor, but should be nothing like the real thing.
No.
Still a really good game.
Now, all we need now is a brand new Gorka Morka, and then I'll be very happy.
Battlefleet Gothic, please.
Talking about Battlefleet Gothic really quickly, I don't want them to do it in the same scale. The scaling was dumb. What they need to do is take a lesson from Star Wars Armada and do it in that size. If they did it like Star Wars Armada...
Explain to the people who don't know what that is, please.
How do you not know what it is? It's like one of the most popular tabletop games.
I vaguely know, but I've never looked into it.
Okay.
There'll be people who
Star Wars X-Wing Armada is the X-Wing expansion game that takes place with the bigger capital ships, such as the Star Destroyers and things like that. Mostly doing like escort missions as they fly around the terrible galaxy of Star Wars. You know, the one that would lose to 40k in every single aspect. Anyway, but their system, like, I really like the X-Wing system. I really like Star Wars Armada. I just kind of hate that they keep updating the cards, and so you need like 5 cards for one vehicle now. It's a little bit silly in my opinion. So the game kind of devoured itself from a lack of ships. But I think Battlefleet Gothic has that. They have all the different races. They have all the different ships. They can make the game go really, really, really well. And maybe we can see things like the rock on the galactic map. We can see things like the phalanx, the giant floating fortresses that are still around. Not the biggest ones, not the super fortresses.
Well, don't forget.
But still the.
Well, don't forget in the original Battlefleet Gothic, you could still use Space Hulks now if you had an Orc fleet.
Yep. Well, I want them to take it away from strictly Battlefleet Gothic. Like, keep the name, because that name is, the name is going to sell it. But go into, like, here's Battlefleet Gothic, here's the War in Armageddon, have different campaigns that you can play out. Like the Battle for Macragge, which was heavily won by the Navy, and not the Marines themselves. The Marines themselves basically pushed back a few Tyranids before the Imperial Navy came in and saved them.
It's only because one ship went stupidly so went right into the middle of the Hive Fleet and activated
that was because
jump.
Yeah, that was because of fucking Gilliman and
that wasn't
not Gilliman, Cogger.
That wasn't even because of Calgar. It was a rogue admiral who did that.
Oh, then he's really dumb. But still, it was the Imperial Navy that actually came. Yes, it did work, but still.
Sometimes crazy works.
Yeah, and sometimes you lose an irreplaceable ship that could have just flown away, because Tyranids aren't that fast.
Considering they were invading, Macragge, a space marine homeworld of one of the original legions. I don't think
but they should have just used their. They should have just used their long range to fight the Tyranids.
But the point is, they were, and it wasn't doing fuck all. So that's why the guy did such a stupid thing to kill them all.
I think that guy was just stupid, but I think that story could have been written better. But that's just me. Moving on from that, I would like to see an Armada-based Battlefleet Gothic game. Because the system is there, the system is good, and I really like it.
You see, part of the appeal of Battlefleet Gothic, at least to me, is playing around with, because what I got from that was you want the game, in effect, scaled down to a fighter level as opposed to a battleship level.
But that's not how battles are fought in 40k. They're fought with immense ships over long range combat.
Exactly. So maybe, borrowing the X-Wing style system where there's titanic space debris or whatever, fine. But don't rescale the game. No, the ships can't change.
The ships definitely need to change. Those ships are terrible.
Well-
The design is awful and they look terrible. They've not aged well.
Sorry. I don't mean like leave the same damn models. I mean don't change the class of the ships.
I like
like,
the
it's-
Battlefleet Gothic models.
They don't age well. Like, in comparison to the Armada ships, which just look better.
Well-
We can get more detail and we can get a cooler looking game and still play on a 4x4.
They're newer, that's why. I think the problem is I'm not against taking the system. The gaming system, not against that. I'm more meaning the scale narratively needs to stay the same. The same class of ships. It still needs to be whatever class of battleship the Imperial Navy was using. It still needs to be the same frigates, the same whatever. Redone to look cooler for the new generation by all flipping means, but don't rescale the game to a fighter level, or it's Valkyries and other orbital fighters.
Well, no,
You need-
that's why I said Armada. That way it's bigger. It is the big ships.
Yeah, sorry, it's just, I think of X-Wing and I think of all the small stuff.
Does anyone
Yeah,
remember the game that came out before Battlefleet Gothic? Space Fleet. Where
No.
you actually
Yes.
you get to use actual craft worlds in the game.
Oh my god, try to imagine a craft world in comparison to a freaking, like The Rock. It'd just be like 4 times the size of it.
Depending on the craft world. Not all craft worlds were that big.
And they do change size because Wraithbone is sort of flexible, so they've probably all shrunk by now.
Or got bigger. It's a possibility.
More likely. Because
I mean, it depends. Maybe it's cold in that one sector of space.
I feel
All
like
right, we can move on. We can move on.
I feel like there's a pun there I was missing anyway.
Something about a dick joke.
It was a dick joke.
Damn it. Anyway, in perhaps more recent news, let's say, talking about things that are more modern, the
Mortarion.
return... You defeat my dramatic announcement, you dick. The return of Mortarion.
With
Yes.
its bright purple loincloth.
Which looked absolutely terrible in the leaked image before they did the official trailer.
I still
It
think it
still
looks
looks
bad.
terrible.
It looks better on the video trailer. It
Look,
really
Daddy,
does.
I'm a beautiful butterfly. You're just a moth.
I like the wings. I do.
I hate the wings. I hate his look.
I get
like.
I get the point of him trying to make it, like a fly's wings, him being the Plague Lord and all that. I just wish it was more like, the original artwork for him, where it's just like,
Reaper?
it's like really tattered feathered wings, for example, really diseased looking, rather than just big fly wings. Because the big fly
maybe.
wings look a bit too, to me.
He looks more like, and I'll say this, he looks more like a Fallen that is actually fully fallen to chaos versus a Death Guard.
No.
Yes. Yes, he does.
no,
He
no.
looks like
I don't
he looks like a normal Plague Marine, and that's it. He looks like a normal Plague Marine, still carrying around a stupid-looking pistol, and just having badly designed wings.
Where the hell is the link to the Fallen there? He still looks like a Death Guard.
Well, that's because the Fallen didn't go full chaos. They were just like, chaos is icky. We're gonna be bad guys.
You've
I'm
completely lost me.
confused.
You've completely lost me there. Because
I think he looks okay.
said-
Not a
okay.
Fallen. Let's rephrase this. He looks more like a generic Death Guard than the actual Primarch.
I'll
In fact-
I'll give you that. He doesn't look regal enough to be a Primarch. I can give you that.
And then, comparing him to some of the cooler models that came out, Reboot Gilliman compared to Celestine, Call,
Magnus.
he kind of just Magnus, though I hate Magnus. But compared to them, Mortarion just kind of looks like a normal dude.
He's definitely not as grandiose as Gilliman or as imposing as Magnus. I'll give you that.
Or as awesome as Celestine.
We're
Yeah.
talking about Primarchs here. Celestine's not a Primarch, so
No, well, I was talking about champion characters. That's why I included Call.
But anyway, I think most people will compare straight to Magnus and Gilliman, but you make a fair point. In his favor, I will say, I like the scythe. I like the gun. I personally quite like the wings. He needs a head swap. Desperately. Would be
They
my...
needed to go. I personally like looking back on his old model, like the Rogue Trader era model for him, where he was literally just the Grim Reaper. I really liked that.
You mean the epic model?
Yes.
Back when
The thing
Angron
is, though,
was literally
like-
Satan.
But if you look at that model now, the first thing that comes to mind, I think if you showed that someone today that original Mortarion model and said, what faction does that belong to? They say Dark Angels in a heartbeat.
They would either say
Okay.
Dark Angels or Satan.
Yeah, they wouldn't get who it is, or they wouldn't
Now,
get what
if
it is.
they did that, made the gas mask, gave him the bug wings just on that model, up that model's scale, because to be honest, Mortarion should have been huge. I mean,
I will say this. I like he's got like the little plague cherubs.
That's
yeah,
quite cool.
yeah, he does. That is kind of cute. I don't know. I'm not a fan of his model.
I like the scythe. I like the plague cherubs. I like the fact he's got quite a dynamic pose, like he's flying forward. I like that. I hate the wings and I hate the face.
I've run probably 2 or 3 separate polls on the issue. The main one I did on Twitter, he came back with a 55% good rating and about a 30% average rating.
How many people involved in your poll?
Not many, probably only like 40 to 60. But it was just a small little sample of people that follow me on Twitter for about over a course of a day, and it was about 50% approval rate in terms of good model. So I think I'm not going to say I don't like it, but it's definitely not as good as it could have been. I'll say that.
I just realised he's actually got his Legion insignia still on him. Like the pre-heresy Legion insignia for the Death Guard still on him on his knee.
Is it?
Yeah, because that makes sense. It should, because it's still him. Unlike
Just with wings.
unlike Fulgrim, for example, who like shed his skin, for want of a better word, to become what he is. Demon Mortarion was just an elevation. Also, I learned something today. I've read through the Chaos Codex very briefly. Perturabo still uses Forgebreaker.
Ah.
I learned that today.
Neat.
Corrupt
I
Forgebreaker,
really like his 30k model. Like, if I continue with my Death Guard, I'm probably going to get his 30k model and use it as him.
We're still talking about Mortarion here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like the 30k Mortarion, I do.
I mean, the official artwork for Mortarion makes him look awesome, where he's got, like, the dragon decayed wings, the giant scythe.
Yeah, because he's actually got in that artwork, it's literally just like massive bat wings.
Yeah, the one where he's fighting Gilliman, right?
Another one where he's fighting Drago.
Oh, right.
Also, I imagined him to be bigger because he literally did fight Caldor Drago.
Oh, yeah, that one, of course.
Like, I didn't expect him to be, like, in size. I mean, he's about the same size as Gilliman. But a little bit bigger than Gilliman. But still.
Are you talking about his physical body or the entire model?
The entire model. And how big his physical model would be in the fluff. Because in the fluff, Caldor Drago landed on his chest and wrote, they changed this, and somebody pointed it out. The summoning insignia of they wrote a bunch of secret summoning techniques of the Grey Knights into him instead of his original name, which Caldor Drago would not know.
Well, he would know, because the Grey Knights have acknowledged all the original intended names of all the Primarchs, for the Demon Primarchs. Because that's what Mortarion's true name is the name the Emperor intended to give him.
Yeah, obviously.
But still, to carve his name onto his heart
if you look at his
with
model,
a
it looks like
sword.
he's actually got something carved into his chest, though. Just above those pipes.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does look like he's got a little bit of a cut there, like leading up to his neck.
Something for closer examination. I just want to... I was talking today in my gaming store, and someone mentioned something about Pandorax the camp, the one, the campaign with the Grey Knights and
Yeah.
the Red Corsairs and stuff. And they mentioned two things that stuck in my head. One, Epimetheus, that founding Grandmaster, as far as the person could remember, never displayed psychic abilities. That's the first thing.
Right.
And B.
And B, because have we noticed that Huron Blackheart seems to have a one-up on Abaddon? Like, Abaddon seems to owe him one.
It's probably because he didn't call him useless. He probably complimented him. You know, Abdon, you're doing A-okay.
And your
Oh,
arms are falling
shucks.
off.
Here's a giant battleship. You know, don't let the other Primarchs... What the Primarchs say behind your backs, don't let it get to you.
Funny enough, in regards to Epimetheus, I'm actually going to be doing a video on him in a few weeks.
I mean, I'm going to be covering the Grey Knights before too long, and I want to cover the founding members as best I can. And the fact that these pointed out to have never used the psychic abilities, if that's true, well, I'd need to read Pandorax again to check. But if he doesn't use his psychic abilities, that sort of makes me panic. As in, oh god, who is this person? What if they're not actually a psyker? I know that will go against the standard Grey Knights canon, but...
It's Garrow!
That's what terrifies me. Well, actually, no, he's not Garrow.
Nathaniel Garrow.
No, he can't be.
Although he
because
died
Ab-
at the end of this.
James Swallows actually confirmed that Garrow does not join the Grey Knights.
Yeah, and Abaddon also said Epimetheus is not one of the false traitors, i.e. someone like Reviel Abada.
I mean, if you read the third Garrow, listen to the third Garrow audiobook, he dies at the end. So,
Wow.
Yeah, he's dead.
Really?
Yeah, Garrow's
Why is
dead.
this not mentioned anywhere?
Which audiobook's that?
The third one in this series of Garrow.
Because there's more than 3.
Let me see if I can find
So
it.
you got Legion of One, Sword of Truth, Shield of Lies, and there's another one as well. There's at least 4.
This is all the horse.
Because the first one's where he meets up with Tylos Rubio, the second one was where he meets Mace Van, the third one was when he gets Garviel Loken.
There it is. The end of Sword of Truth.
He doesn't die in that.
It's heavily implied that he's dead.
No, it's not!
Oh god, here we go.
But anyway, moving on.
Okay. Is there anything else in the news?
The new role-playing game.
Yes, the role-playing game, and not only that, we have all of the new Sakaran battle tanks have all their stats and everything, and they can be used in both games, which I think is awesome. I can't wait to get a Scorpius in freaking 40k just so I can have no friends at all. And what else is it? The aircraft and the Terminators just got released for the Adeptus Custodes. That I'm excited about, because the Custodians are starting to become more of a fleshed out army instead of just a task force.
I personally was never really... I never really had a feel for the Custodians having a fully fledged army outside of Terra, personally. I always thought, like, off of Terra, they seem to be more as a task force.
Yeah, sent in to do a very specific
Specialists,
job.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if they have 10,000 of them, that's an army.
But the thing here's
Standard
an interesting. Well, this is the interesting thing. The Custodes were 10,000 strong at the beginning of the Horus Heresy. That's pretty much confirmed.
Yeah.
Now, it's also confirmed, I believe, that 90% of them died in the war in the Webway.
Yep.
I don't remember them saying 90%. I know almost all the Sisters of Silence.
I've seen it cited in more than one place that they've died, that 90% of them died.
They suffered massive losses, yes.
Yeah, but the reason
even Titans walked out of there alive.
The reason I mentioned 90% specifically is that the Custodes have a second nickname. They used to be known as the 10,000. They're now known as the 1,000 Companions.
So there's only 1,000 left.
So, and that lines
be...
up. That lines up with 90%. Now, just let me finish my point. The point I'm making is they're still known as the 1,000 Companions to this day, and it's implied that the Emperor had a hand. It's flat out stated that the Emperor had a hand in the creation of every individual Custodes. My question, I suppose, or my theory, is that they cannot make any more.
They can. They actually go into detail. Well, not detail. They talk about it in their index that they can make them. It just takes forever to make one. It takes like a century to make one of them. And it's heavily implied that the Sisters of Silence are augmented in the same way. It takes master class psychers to make them, because their augmentations come from, well, psychic powers versus actual things happening to them.
Yeah, it's biomancy over surgery. We've covered that before. The only reason
the other thing about them is, yes, there could be just 10,000 of them, but it's also implied that there's more than 10,000 of them. But there's 10,000 of them that remained loyal. That
you mean the 1,000?
Went under. The 1,000 stayed by his side at all costs because of their failure.
The thing is,
that's 300.
Yeah, that's exactly. The companions were originally just the 300 best custodians who served as the personal bodyguards of the Emperor.
And they're the ones that stayed behind.
The thousands are the ones that don't leave Terra.
But 300.
The 300.
It's the 300 stay. That's why they're the companions. The 300.
This is the point. 300 have stayed. Period.
Okay,
everyone else is gone. I'm not saying you're wrong. All I'm saying is that it's pretty much.
No, but you're not letting me finish my point. I'm saying 1,000 of them stayed on Terra. 300 stayed in the Imperial Palace. One of them is in the Webway.
Yes, we know that. He's dead now because Dratnian got loose.
Yep, and then got sent to Abaddon, which is a fate worse than death.
You're right. 1,000 stayed on Terra, but what we're meaning now is that in the modern era, when the Custodians are back on the campaign again, only 300 are left.
Well, when they say that more can be made, it kind of defeats the purpose that there's only 300 of them. It's probably one of the things where they could just make them. It just takes a lot of resources.
So you said a century per custodian, right? Your words.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that they could have, in theory, created 1,000 more in the entirety of history. So how the hell have they got back to 10?
It doesn't mean they make one at a time. You're implying that they just make one and then move on to the next one.
But if it's the Emperor that makes him, with his current state, how's he going to be able to make a whole batch from at a time? I mean, currently, he might only be able to do one at a time.
Considering that the Emperor has never changed, even in his death, and that's in Dark Imperium, he just does his business as usual. It could be that he's using the Golden Throne itself, not only to power the Astronomicon, keeping himself alive, he could be using it to make more Sisters of Silence, because we know that they're being produced again, and we know that they're out of retirement.
We also know he's not powering the Astronomicon.
Yeah, that's strictly the Golden Throne.
No, it's not that either.
The 1,000 sacrifices.
It's not that either.
Then what is it?
It's the Adeptus Astronomica, who are sacrificing who are literally just the astropaths, I think they are. They're the ones providing the power. The Emperor's just pointing it in the right direction.
Not anymore.
Then they've retconned that pretty damn hard.
No, I mean not anymore, as in half of the Imperium is in the dark.
Well, they're still powering it, it's just there's a bloody great warp rift in the way.
Yeah,
also,
but they're still flying around.
Actually, I think, do we need to address... I think I should probably mention this. Sorry about the call-out, but Arch, why the hell did you say Sanguinius was alive?
And I didn't start that. Just saying.
Look, I'm saying this for one simple reason, just to clarify this for the comments. There was a video went up, and I didn't even watch it. I just read the comments because I was curious to see what the community was saying about 8th edition. And the amount of comments saying, wait, what, Sanguinius is alive? I was like, what the hell? Why is everybody saying this? So, if people are confused, no, Sanguinius is dead. At the very least for now, hopefully forever, Sanguinius is fucking dead.
I
Okay.
think the confusion might stem from that one picture we got Imperial forces one side, Chaos forces the other side, and above them you've got an angel-winged being, which is, let's be honest, it's symbolic because it's fighting a giant snake. It's symbolism. It's not literally saying. It's not saying it's sanguineous against the Lizardman god Sotek. It's literally just a symbolism of good versus evil.
Yeah, I mean, the Eternity Gate, one of the most iconic artworks in 40k by John Blanche, is the Emperor stabbing a snake. It's bloody symbolic, all right?
It could also be that, that wasn't sanguineous, but another living saint.
It was a male. All living saints are actually considered to be female.
That isn't entirely true. There is a living saint.
Who's the
that
male?
is Mal.
Who?
That dude on the front of the one book that's in front of a Baneblade. I can't remember his name.
Macarius.
But
he's an Imperial saint. He's not a living saint. He's an Imperial saint, not a living saint. There's a difference.
Yeah, but that's like
Primarchs
saying
are all living
Skittles and
saints.
M&Ms.
The Primarchs were all given sainthood as well, and since they're alive, they count, don't they?
An actual living saint is something that mainly occurs with the Adeptus Sororitas, but not always. But it is always female.
Well, that's kind of from the Adeptus Sororitas, which don't have their fluff fully fleshed out. I mean, hell, they don't even know how they make their armor, or where it's made.
By the Adeptus Mechanicus, there you go.
Actually, no, they kill the Adeptus Mechanicus. They hate them. That's actually canon, by the way. They have fought against the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Everyone's fought against the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Actually, what was speaking about
the sisters actually view the Mechanicus as a bunch of traitors.
Actually, what was thinking of the Sororitas, because this I found a little bit confusing. Age of Apostasy. Gurge Van Dyer holed up in the Ecclesiarchal Palace, right? And then...
Yeah.
Now, I may have read this wrong, but the Custodes went to get Alicia Dominica and take her to the Golden Throne, we believe, right?
Yes.
Is the Ecclesiarchal Palace within the Imperial Palace?
No. Other side.
Then
the Ecclesiarchal Palace is on Antarctica, I think.
Then why the fuck were the Custodes there? They don't leave the Imperial Palace.
Well, you see, because the Custodians have actually left the Imperial Palace before. They've participated in the War of the Beast. They participated in a few other thingamajigs that happened on Mars.
They were in the War of the Beast insofar as they tried to stop some Eldar getting to the Golden Throne. I don't remember them doing anything else. But they did succeed, just.
It's mainly due to the fact that Go Vandar's forces were causing such a ruckus that it ended up getting on the Imperial Palace's doorstep, and then the Custodians were like, this shit's now getting serious, we might actually have to stop this.
Yeah, they had a meeting with the Space Marines and said, you just keep him busy, we'll be right back. And went and got Alicia Dominica, and the rest is history.
Essentially, yeah.
Also, I love how the Centurion in that left his squad basically as live bait. And just said, you keep my squad, I'm going to take your leader with me and we're going to go and have a chat. Was basically how he did it.
And then she had a nice little chat with the Emperor.
It's not confirmed, but yes, pretty much.
It's implied.
Heavily implied.
But again, implication is not confirmation. But still.
Yeah. So that, I think, is my biggest gripe. There's so much implication. Like, a lot of people just assume things are canon, but a lot of it is like, it's heavily implied this, but...
Oh, speaking of which, apparently there is now a legitimate reason as to why Black Library won't say that the Blood Ravens are Thousand Sun successors. And apparently it's due to the fandom. Apparently there's been instances of the fandom, like, coming up with ideas, and if Games Workshop use them, they demand money. So that's why I just don't acknowledge fan ideas anymore.
Wait, so all of our theorizing about the Blood Ravens being Thousand Sun successors has stopped the Blood Ravens being Thousand Sun successors?
Apparently so, yeah.
Excuse me. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. To think all the amazing ideas that you've come up with over the years and might have just, like, Judy have gone, oh, fuck, we can't do that anymore.
In fairness, Games Workshop, if you're listening, I'm not going to demand money, so don't worry about it. We got permission. Anyway, moving on. Is there anything else on the agenda in regards to the news?
I might as well ask to Alexis, how are Chaos and the Grey Knights stacking up on the tabletop?
Chaos is losing horribly.
So no change from last edition then.
It's going to be an Imperial victory because every Imperial player playing in it is using.
I'm not talking about Conor. I'm meaning like how generally, like in the meta, how's it doing?
Oh wait, which ones do you mean? Grey Knights and
Chaos Marines. How are they doing in the meta with the new books?
I haven't actually had the chance to fight against Grey Knights, but I did check out the Codex. I can tell you're going to see a lot more baby carriers on the field now that you can legit have like an entire army of, I think like, what is it, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them on one tabletop, and they can teleport across the battlefield. They're kind of annoying. They can smite spam, so they're really good at killing characters and tanks. But overall, they're kind of meh. I say tier 2 if done right, depending on the allies you bring with them. But right. I would say tier 3 by themselves. Death Guard a tier 3, even with Mortarion.
I was meaning about Chaos Marines generally. Sure.
Yeah, sure. If they spam Brimstone Horrors, they're tier 1. If they don't, well, they're garbage.
Great.
So, moving on then. I believe it's question time.
Well, when it comes to those two armies, like the Chaos Space Marines, I just want to say this really quickly. It's kind of a shame that their army is based on their worst unit in Chaos Demons Codex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of annoyed by that.
Yeah, because I faced World Eaters today. I was running against a Greater Brass Scorpion, which was one-shotting everything it looked at, but they feel like glass cannons, World Eaters. They feel like absolute glass cannons. Because Khorne Berserkers with like their attack twice or attack 3 times bollocks with stratagems, they will literally tear every single unit they charge a new one. But at the same time, I was killing every single unit I charged, and I was playing Orcs. So it's like, you kill my units, but I'll kill yours.
Yeah, trading 1 for 1 is this edition's go-to, which I really like.
Yeah, it's kind of nice, like, because I said it before, there's almost a chess-like element to it.
Yeah, I'm going to sacrifice this unit to move you closer to me.
Yeah, to make X, Y, and Z happen, and there's a lot of skill involved in it, even if it just feels a bit annoying to have to take a unit off without really making much of an effort.
Okay, so moving on to questions.
Yep.
First question, what is the difference between an Imperial Knight and an Imperial Titan?
Knights are smaller.
Size.
Size, number of crew, power of machine spirit, weapons, speed, pretty much everything.
Social standing.
Faction.
I personally think a Knight Titan, an Imperial Titan, a Warhound is faster than a Knight.
Yeah, actually, you may be right. But yeah, there's a faction thing as well.
The Warhounds are often described as running.
Yeah, it seems to vary from book to book, but yeah.
Is there a way... Oh, go ahead.
So in fairness, in that game Freeblade, you see like the Knights Titans running sometimes as well, so...
Yeah, but imagine the stride difference.
True.
Yeah, the main other difference between them, other than physical stuff, is their faction. So the Knights are in their own houses of like independent Imperial groups, and the Titans are all, if not almost all, part of the Mechanicus.
They can also be built without STCs. But I'm not sure if that's canon anymore. I have to recheck that source, because I know Knights have 2 different origin stories now. Is there a way and/or a race to get a Tyranid hive fleet in a stalemate on a planet?
Octarius. There is a canon example.
Yeah. If a Primarch loyalist turns to Chaos and returns to his sons, ask them to join him, would they? It's a long-winded question, but that's essentially the broken down version of the question.
Yes and no, essentially. Some will join him, some will stay loyal. Like what happened in the Horus Heresy, essentially. You had loyalists and traitors, didn't you?
Yeah, I think actually one of the best examples would probably be actually Dawn with that. Because the Imperial Fist were Dawn loyalists and the Crimson Fist were the Codex compliant ones, and the Black Templars were fucking lunatics. So you'd find the Imperial Fist would probably majoritively go. At least if you did this on the original chapter, the original composition of the chapter, the Imperial Fist would go, the Crimson Fist wouldn't. Maybe.
Okay. Is it true that in Wrath of Magnus Is it true that in the Wrath of Magnus story, it confirms that rune priests are not psychers and the spirit of Fenris is not demons?
I have yet to read that.
Kind of. It kind of does. It kind of tells you that rune priests are kind of sorcerers instead of actual psychers, which I think is kind of cool, but they do use psychic powers. They just use artifacts to do their psychic powers, which makes them more similar to sorcerers. And the demons of the spirit of their planet is more of a metaphor than an actual physical being. So both yes and no. It kind of confirmed it, but not really.
So ambiguous as ever then.
Of course, it's 40k. They'll never answer a single question. They'll only ask you another one.
Well, no, they did answer the question. Will Gilliman ever come back to life? Yes, he did. There you go.
Yeah. How far is the current state of the galaxy from the Chaos God's ideal state of the galaxy? We don't know, because that is always and ever-changing.
Considering the fact that the entire galaxy is pretty much consumed by a warp rift, I'd say it's getting pretty close.
However, this is a theory. This was my original theory before I ever met any of you guys. I don't think Chaos can afford the galaxy being completely fucked.
No, they can't.
Because they'll run out of soul stuff, for want of a better word. Because, well, you know what? You know where I'm going with this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wipe.
They'll run out of soul food.
Yeah, it's kinda like, okay. Let's say you wipe 90% of humanity out for a second. The gods gorge on their souls, right? But now now the remaining 10% are converted to worship Chaos, ish, or something. But the problem is, all of a sudden, there's a much smaller proportion of emotion to feed on, and that's like just gorging yourself and then just slowly starving, as opposed to just
when the Chaos Gods move on to the Tau.
Because, that my theory at the time. I don't think.
Way. I mean, some people say, like, the Chaos Gods can't consist of Tau souls. As Farsight Crisis of Faith actually put it, a whale can feed off a shoal of krill.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Yep. It would be a bit of a subsistence for a while, but they could do it. They could do it. I mean, to be fair, I made the theory at the time when that book wasn't even a pipe dream. Like, there was nothing at all linking Tau to Psychers to the warp to anything. So at that time, I think my theory held a bit more water. But yeah, you have a point.
Okay, question. My friends are hesitant to play against Thousand Suns and Tzeentch demon armies. Damn right they are. They're really freaking powerful. Because of smite spam. That's the exact reason. Would there be any good ways to counter this without using Sisters of Silence or the anti-psyker assassins? Yes, Imperial Guard conscript blobs. You can run usually about 400 to 600 guardsmen and just keep casting double shooting on them, 24-inch range.
The challenge is...
You can wipe through any... It's why it's a tier 1 army. It literally eats through everything.
Here's the problem. We don't know... You say your friends are hesitant, but what are your friends playing? Because if that person's friends are playing, let's say, Marines, Tau, and Eldar, who literally do not have the numbers to do that, what do you do? Could you...
Actually, spam... For Space Marines, get yourself 4 Storm Ravens and reboot Gilliman. You'll thank me. Or
if
get
Gilliman
yourself
dies, you lose.
No, Gilliman dies. You still have all.
They changed it.
Then you. Well, okay, cut me off. I'll stop now.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if you'd seen the fact that flyers don't count for tabling anymore.
I have. I wasn't finished with the list.
Oh, it just seemed like it was. Sorry.
You drop your 3 troop choices. The tactical squads flying around, which gives you 3 more command points. So you have 9.
Yeah, 9?
You have 3 from Gilliman. You have 3 from your squad. You have 3 for being battle forged, and you have already used 1 to try to reroll Cs.
The 3 from the battalion. I'll look that over and try and make that calculation work in a minute.
Okay. 3 for battalion, 3 for Gilliman, 3 for being battleforged.
Yeah, you need 2 more HQs then. Or at least 1 more.
Just drop a captain, no upgrades. Or a librarian, no upgrades.
Yeah, and then an air wing detachment, which is maybe even another 1. Yeah, right. There you go.
Moving on.
Anyway, another good counter to Tzeentch is bringing another summoning army to try to get around them and kill their smite spammers. Why do Warhammer video games suck?
So that I didn't hear a word of that.
Sorry, I'll mute my mic.
Okay, why do so many Warhammer video games suck? They never had a consistent story between any of them except for the Dawn of War games. They cameo each other, but that's about it. The stories are written by
different developers is the main one.
Yeah, the stories are written.
The only ones that have generally been good in recent years have been the ones by THQ. So, but there's been a whole bunch of other developers which have been shit, for lack of a better term. I mean, EA was actually pretty good back in the day when you had Vengeance of the Blood Angels. And SSI was actually not too bad, because SSI had you had Final Liberation, you had Chaos Gate, and you had Rights of War, which was all right, apart from the dreadful sound effects.
Yeah, I think part of the problem with making a 40k video game is you need a good game mechanics base. You need a good basis of mechanics that feels appropriate. But then you also need a team that understands and appreciates and knows how to work with the lore. And that's a very different challenge that most devs can build a good game, but building a good on-theme game is another challenge entirely.
Easiest, and his next question is, what would be your ideal 40k video game? Not Horus Heresy, what is it? Dark Heresy. You play as a bunch of acolytes of an Inquisitor going through a planet that's being slowly corrupted by chaos. You would have a horror element to it. You would have a mystery element to it. You wouldn't have the damn Space Marines in it, which ruin everything because of how big and overpowerful they are. You would actually have a decent game that could fill an actual quota and show you the grand size of 40k.
I would personally like something akin to Rogue Trader. Like not the first edition 40k, the actual Rogue Traders. So that way you also get to have some nice interaction with Xenos races because they're allowed to do so. And you can also set up an interesting mechanic in the game where you try to set up trade routes between the Imperium and stuff as well, which could be interesting. In regards to in-game currency and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, maybe do something like that with an explorative fleet element to it as well. Mix that in.
What is the likelihood of the birth of... how the hell do you say the Eldar name that starts with a Y?
Inyad.
No, he's got it spelled Y-N-C-A-R.
Oh, Incarn.
Incarn.
Incarn?
I call it Incarn.
Okay. And reawakening of... Okay, this question is kind of all over the place. What is the likelihood of the birth of Incarne and the reawakening of Gilliman being a part of some kind of giant, elaborate... Cabal or Alpha Legion? I'm done reading that question now. Moving on.
Okay, firstly, it's not the Cabal. The Cabal were wiped out by the time of the War of the Beast. So it's that simple. In regards to doing the Alpha Legion, I know it's an interesting.
The Alpha Legion just got a. The Alpha Legion just got a book that kind of confirmed them as heretics.
Yeah, but in regards to being the Alpha Legion, it's not going to be them dealing with the Eldar in that regard. Try and build a new god. I know it's a meme to say Alpha Legion are doing everything, but no.
Alright, this is a question for Alexis and Michael. What would you think the best list... what would you think the list of the best to worst armies in both competitive and casual play? If you actually follow my YouTube and... Not my YouTube, my Twitter and Facebook, I often talk about this, or just jump into my Discord. I talk about this question quite a lot. But in terms of best to worst, it really depends on how the people are playing. But overall, it is kind of accepted that Guard are kind of the best right now. And Sisters of Battle are up there as well, which I think is really cool. So Tzeentch demons are up there as well, and so are Knight Titans, because they're just really hard to kill. But worst army this edition is definitely the Tau. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad about this. They're going to be like, well, have you gone up against a list consisting of 40 drones and 5 commanders? And yes, I have. I killed it in 3 turns. It was mad easy.
It's actually, there was an interesting little thread on an old podcast episode. Someone was moaning at me for being salty about Tau being bad this edition.
In all fairness, you were salty.
As it turns out, not too unrightly so. But anyway, that wasn't the point I was trying to make. The point is, I think, yes, Tau are not in a great space right now. But in the casual scene, because I don't play competitively, we play with a little bit of, I'm not going to say fun, because that's rude to the competitive community, but we don't go all out on each other. We play with a different mindset, I suppose. My Tau have held their own, even against armies like Guard. Like, I went up against a Guard army that was 3 Russes, including Pask, had a Manticore, had 3 Assassins, and basically no infantry, and I nearly beat it. I went up against a Guard Necron Alliance, which had Immortal Lich Guard, My Will Be Done Tesla, the same sort of Guard army, and all of that, and I nearly beat it with my Orcs. My Tau they've not won that many games, I admit that, and they're certainly not what they used to be, but if they were what they used to be, people would just be moaning. It's one of those situations, this is going to sound really, really salty, and I don't intend it to, so I'm sorry, but there is a no-win situation for a Tau player right now, because you're playing an army that used to be, I'm talking back all the way in 6th edition here, used to be the king of the hill. Like, it was up there with Eldar, and particularly in Taudar, it was the most broken bullshit in the game. And everybody hated it as a result. And then in 7th edition, it got slightly reduced in the tier listing, because Marines got better, and Necrons got better, and Eldar got even...
It sat at tier 1 in 7th edition as well.
It was tier 1, but it wasn't dominating everything it faced. I think
it was.
Oh, right. It certainly didn't seem like it was as oppressive as it was in 6th edition. Maybe that's just because Eldar were even worse. I don't know. But you're in a position where you're coming from an army that was tier 1, that is now not good, and everybody hates you because you played a tier 1 army while they could be salty about it. But as soon as you get annoyed because your army's got a little bit worse and they can suddenly beat you, then suddenly you're just being salty about it, even though you genuinely have concerns because your army that was winning is now losing, and it feels like there's nothing you can do about it because everyone else got roughly a good treatment out of 8th edition, majoritively anyway, and your army got hit with the nerf bat, and a very, very big nerf bat. I don't mean to come across as salty, but it's a no-win situation. You can't just blag it off because, well, people are going to hate you because you're being a dick. You can't be complaining about it or saying, I want to change this, I want to change that, because you're being salty. It's a bit of a no-win.
He's not being salty, he's just lightly seasoned.
Actually, all they need to do is just lower their points just a wee bit. They're good.
I would argue that, yeah, a small points cost drop in a fair few places, a lot of places, but the main problem is that Crisis Suits have no place right now compared to Commanders, and Riptides suck. That's what I'm hearing. I'm not saying that's the case, but apparently the Riptide is the worst unit in the Codex, and the only thing you take Crisis Suits for is for Flamers. Nothing else.
Clearly, you have not seen the Storm Surge.
Well, is it that bad?
Yeah, it's so many points for meh shooting and terrible close combat.
Yeah, it just feels like either they need a not insignificant point drop, I'm talking maybe even 10 points a suit, or they need an easier way to get their ballistic skill back up. Because last edition, what made Tau so goddamn powerful was the fact that they had Markolites on top of everything else. Markolites were borderline oppressive because they just rolled the hit, and all of a sudden your army's doing bullshit to you. Nowadays, unless you're spamming...
They also knocked demons out of the sky.
And so on and so forth, yeah. But Markolites taking a big nerf, and your ballistic skill staying at 4+, means you you don't hit anymore. Your battlesuits just don't hit. The only thing that hits on a 3+ is the hammerhead or the commander, and that's it. So I'd argue that some of the bigger suits, like especially the Riptide, because it's got heavy weapons, needs ballistic skill 3+ to make it work. That might seem, it might be OP on Crisis suits, but on Riptides, I don't think it would be. Genuinely. But anyway.
Now, all I got from that is, wow, my suits are terrible.
And this is why you're not allowed to be a Tau player in 8th edition, because if you even so much as think about complaining, and I know you're doing this to take the piss out of me, but you're
actually, I'm probably, I really do actually want to get back my Tau. I miss them.
Yeah,
at least you have your body pillow.
Yeah.
You were taking the piss. I know you were taking the piss, but you illustrated my point perfectly. That is people's attitude right now. Crimea River, your army that was tier 1 is now bare average. Deal with it. Like,
well,
we just want.
Well, no, the Tau literally got the worst end of everything. They are bad. There is no good about them. They're just bad. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
In the stuff I read about battles with Tyranids in space, it is often repeated that the Tau tactics of high maneuverability and precision maximum range fire were bad against the High Fleets. Actually, that's pretty good against the High Fleets. They couldn't get away from the High Fleets because their ships aren't fast enough. My question is why? He goes in to explain it a little bit quicker, but saying that they could take out the synaptic ships, but here's the problem with taking out the synaptic ships. That's literally all of them, except for the giant spore mines.
Yeah. It's one of those things, and it's the same problem that the Tau have against orcs, is they physically the usual tactic of cut off the head doesn't apply. Because there's too many synaptic linchpins in the Tyranids case, and too many powerful knobs willing to take over in the Orcs case. You just
exactly.
can't.
In regards to Orcs, when the big one dies, the next biggest one takes over.
Well, I also don't think the Tau have ever faced a Norn Queen. Like, they don't have knowledge of what it is. So they wouldn't know what to kill.
It depends whether there may have been a Norn Queen at Violos, we don't know. And we know High Fleet Gorgon, that was a full High Fleet, wasn't it?
Have they done boarding fleets against Tyranids?
Have they boarded them? No, they haven't. But they may have chanced on it, because High Fleet Gorgon was a full-on invasion of the Tau Empire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they'll have come across the North.
Which also led to the funny thing about High Fleet Gorgon is that it literally led to the fact of a Tau Sept world being overrun by a Tau Gene Stealer cult, and then being quarantined for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Because they have cast like, oh, we got a Gene Stealer. What happens if it infects one? Well, go on, let it infect you then. Alright. Idiots.
Well, the Tau experiments are kind of like how Nazis experimented on people. And that's not an extreme to say.
It's a different mindset than that. It's more extreme naivete than extreme cruelty. But
can you imagine if they ever encountered Xenomorphs? I wonder what happens if I let this thing hug my face. Nothing bad could come of that, for the greater good.
That's called naivete, not callousness and cruelty.
No, it's called stupidity.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they have experimented on their own people just to see certain things happen. Like, they had to test some theories, and they just use humans. Well, they probably do use humans to see.
All the Etherocasts just do is like, you there, you fucked up, kill yourself. Okay! That's canon.
I still couldn't get over that they were willing to just die.
Well, that's been stated in the law since the beginning.
Yeah, but we've never had like an actual confirmed case of it until
I
recently.
agree completely. It's just that I knew that was once Remleiz started like talking about the fact that he said that this is going to happen. I knew exactly where it was going. I'm not surprised, but
because the funny thing in regards to that, when the Etheros said, "Take out your knife," the Wardcast said to her, have a look of horror on her face before she did, and then all emotion went from her face when she killed herself. So what does that mean?
Remleiz, you crazy
Actually, yeah,
bastard.
that actually makes the interesting point. I don't know. Have we discussed the execution force on Agralan before?
I don't
On
think
here?
so.
Because I know I've had the conversation, but I don't think I've had it with you guys. The execution force on Agralan. The Vindicare went after Farsight. The Kalidus went after Shadow Sun. The Aversa went after the 8. And the Alexis went after Aunva.
Yeah.
Why?
There's a question about Eldar rape. Just saying. I'm not going to read it, but it's there.
I love how we go from, why was the Alexis assassin sent after an ethereal? Oh, because Eldar rape.
I was going to say, that was just so unconnected.
Like, that's a question. Okay, question.
Because the ethereals are psychos. That's why do you think demons constantly go after him?
Would basic, non-Primaris Space Marine, would basic non-competitive, non-Primaris Space Marines be viable in the new edition? Answer, yes. I have a new... Well, not only are they cheaper, command squads are better, arguably better than Primaris Marines, because 4 to 5 melta-guns, actually 8 melta-guns plus 2 sergeants with combi meltas in a drop pod can actually drop in and deal a hell of a lot more damage than Hellblasters can.
Okay, moving on.
To a single target. Also, Devastator squads are a bit better. Gilliman is not a Primaris Marine, and he's amazing. Marinus Colgar is really good this edition. Basically, if you're not playing Ultramarines, you're not playing a good army this edition.
Matt Ward!
No, Matt Ward is probably like crying in the dungeon that they tricked him into it. Bikers kind of took a hit. I mean, they got the better wound and better shooting, but they're overall meh. They don't move as fast.
My bikers got faster and got better shooting. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, the Orcs bikers got insanely good. And I don't have a single one.
I have 6.
Why didn't the Emperor remove the Butcher's Nails from Angron?
He
Couldn't.
It would kill him.
Well, it's in Mastermind kind of...
It's flat out stated.
It's confirmed
Yeah, he
in
kind of
Butcher's
just
Nails.
looks at him. He kind of just looks at him and goes, I should just remake them.
Yeah,
And then just goes, yeah, whatever.
It's also confirmed in the story of Butcher's Nails. Lorgar actually turns around and says to Angron, yeah, they can't be removed without killing you. So why do you give them to your sons?
I wonder if they could use a different type of narcotic to actually counter the Butcher's Nails.
A shit ton of weed, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean... Anyway. So serious question first. What if the Primarchs had joined the opposite factions on the planets they landed on? I.e. Khan being raised by Palpatine. Palpatine. And Mortarion being raised by the lower humans.
That was his faction, but yeah, Mortarion's a weird one. He switched sides halfway through, say with Perturabo, but
because he realised, hang on, those things down there, I'm like them. I'm not this weird green alien dude.
Isn't that kind of just racism?
No, speciesism, technically.
Yeah. And question 2. Remleiz, what would be worse, a 40K movie by Michael Bay or a Transformer movie by C.S. Goto?
Definitely a Transformer movie by C.S. Goto, that would be worse.
yeah, because I mean, a 40K movie that is literally just a massive explosion montage, it could be worse.
Yeah. But knowing Michael Bay will probably find a way to plug the American flag in it.
God, yes.
Oh, God.
So I just recently found out that my girlfriend worships Slanesh, and I worship the glorious blood god Khorne. Well, your girlfriend's right. I mean, you should listen to her.
Finish the question.
No, like that should be the end of the question. Like your girlfriend is
That's
right.
not a question,
She worships
isn't
the
it?
right.
That's a statement.
She's worshiping the right God. You're just being stupid and thinking blood and blood and blood and blood. Where Slanesh is thinking about fun, pleasure, love, romance.
Anyway,
Everything
back
else.
to the question.
She keeps. She keeps letting laying scented candles around the house. It makes it.
What?
Okay, I can't read the rest of this question.
Skip.
Oh, goddamn it.
Love is honor, and I shall follow, though.
Stop, Alexis. Just stop and move on.
Sorry, this question is awesome. Anyway, listen to your girlfriend. Fall to Slanesh. Slanesh is more fun. Oh my god, the girlfriend commented back. That is glorious. Anyway.
We all know the only chaos god to worship is Malice. Discussion ended.
No,
Moving
your
on.
god isn't even real.
He is real, we got proof.
Your god is about as good as freaking the horned rat.
At least mine managed to get into the material realm.
So what? Mine's too busy tormenting Eldar for fun.
Yours is going to have its ass kicked by the Eldar.
Details. What did the navigators use before the Golden Throne to see through the warp?
This is a question I actually would quite like to know the answer to.
Actually, the warp was a lot calmer when humanity first started taking to the stars, so seeing through it wasn't that difficult.
Yeah, actually, that raises the... Well, okay, this doesn't raise a point, really. But when the Astronomicon goes out, i.e., let's say the Emperor dies for a second, or it has another power cut, or whatever, humanity could still get around, because like they had... Well, the thing is, the Imperium would collapse, but humanity wouldn't, I
They'd
think.
still get around, they'd just be navigating more or less blind. So they'd
Semi-blind,
So they'd
yeah.
just be guessing where the hell they're going.
No, they when Gilliman was in the Dark Imperium, he couldn't use the warp or anything. He just flew to the planets that he knew the coordinates from. I mean, it doesn't stop them from knowing where the planets are. It's just they can't teleport there, essentially. For lack of a better term of traveling.
But again, in the Horus Heresy, when the Ruin Storm happened, it cut out all light from the Astronomica, and the only way that ships could navigate was to use the Pharos beacon.
It might be that they were still trying to use warp travel, though.
The thing is, warp travel is pretty much the only way you can get from one system to another, really. Without taking centuries.
In the Mechanicum Omnibus, they actually explain that they can fly around without it.
They have sublight engines, yes, but it's still going to take them forever. That's why they use warp travel, because they get from like one end of the galaxy to another in a couple of weeks, as opposed to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, but it's still travel, nonetheless. They can still do it. And besides, in 40K, they literally hop, skip, and jump over 200 years in a matter of a chapter. Alright. So, my Python joke. I'm looking into starting Space Marine armies. What would you guys recommend for me to get first? Start collecting Space Marines, Megaforce, Space Marines, tactical squads. Well, not actually tactical squads. Tactical squads are basically useless now. Get the Primaris starter if you want Primaris Marines. Get a Land Raider.
Read the lore, look at the chapters you like, look at what sort of units they typically use, and then go from there.
You can't go wrong with the start collecting Space Marines regardless.
But yes, start with the start collecting because it's just value for days.
Yep. Why is every Primarch known by a given name by the culture of the planet that they landed on, except for the Night Hunter, who is primarily known as Conrad Kurz?
Because Conrad Kurz is his name.
Which,
as far as I'm aware, was given to him by the Emperor.
Yes, it was, because he called him Conrad Kurz when he arrived on Nostrama. It's a simple reason. No one else had a name for Kurz.
The reason is generally simple. The other Primarchs were given their names and were called by those names as opposed to their intended names because they grew up with those names, so the Emperor's like, Well, his name's actually Sanguinius. Everyone calls him Sanguinius. He identifies himself as Sanguinius, so there's no point in me calling him David. So I'll just call him Sanguinius because that's what he knows. Comrade Kurz, he doesn't have a name, so I'll give him his intended name.
He is just Nighthaunter, yeah. Are there any others that were not... Because I know Ferrus Manus is a weird one, because he didn't really... no, never mind, ignore me.
Sanguinius has his name from the tribe of blood. That's why he's called Sanguinius, because he's from
Russ
blood.
got his name from being called Leman of the Russ. Rogel Dawn got his name the same way. Vulcan, I don't know where he got his name from. He's just
he got it from his blacksmith dad.
Yeah,
named
Khan
after
got
a
his
god
from,
of the forge.
Khan got his from the tribes. Lionel Johnson got his from the
Luther.
Order.
From
the Order. Was it Luther specifically? I didn't know if it was
Lion, son of the forest.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was Luther named him or the Order, but fair enough, Luther. Gilliman, the same. Fulgrim, the same. Horus turned up too fast, so that could have been the Emperor's name.
Corax.
I think that was given.
Yeah, because there was those ravens on his world. Well, his moon.
Yeah, his name means savior or deliverer, according to Lysaeus.
And Angron by his slave master.
Angronius of the Red Sands, I believe, his official name is. Have I missed anybody there in that quick little summary?
Perturabo.
Lion.
We've done Lion.
We've done Lion. Perturabo got given his by his adoptive father.
Actually, Magnus would be interesting, because Magnus knew who he was. So Magnus knew his own origins. As far as we know, he knew his own origins. So maybe Magnus was his emperor given name. He just kept it.
And he was given the title of the Red because he had the bright red skin. So I've just called him it's Magnus the Red.
Or whatever, yeah.
I'm just sunburnt.
God damn it.
Anyway, who out of the Space Marine characters do you think should take the Primaris upgrade, and who do you think shouldn't? Personally, I think Kentos Ikarius should actually get it because of how similar the characters they look.
He's dead.
They could put it in him again.
He's dead.
Space Marines being dead is just a momentary thing.
He's dead.
I think that it would make the most sense to give it to Pedro Cantor. Because, well, the Crimson Fist is swimming in Primaris right now.
Yeah, basically any chap does now pretty much all Primaris.
Yeah, but try convincing Logan Grimm now.
Well, he's just old. Well, are you going to try and change Santa Claus?
No, I'm saying
You
try
don't mess with
convincing
Santa
him.
Claus.
Actually, that's oh, hang on. This just is a weird thought. Primaris Marines and Terminator armor doesn't mix, does it?
No.
So, yeah, there's no Artificer armor in Primaris either, is there?
No.
Not yet.
So yeah, that would be an armor downgrade for any Terminator armored character to do that. Same with Dante. Huh.
I'm
Sorry,
pretty
random thought.
I'm pretty sure Dante would like one of his new upgraded jump packs, though. So he can actually fly.
Maybe.
Gonna skip that question. Gonna skip that question. Okay. Could you guys do a video on what you think would happen in more detail if the Emperor died at the hands of the orcs during the heresy?
So basically, what if the orcs won the War of the Beast, essentially?
No, I think maybe they mean that whole
What if he
Goro
died-
business.
Oh, yeah, when that orc tried to strangle him.
Yeah, because we ended up having a bit of a chat about that last time.
Alright. I'm sure we can.
Yeah, we could give it a go, I suppose.
What would happen if you threw a vortex grenade inside of the warp? Like Drago suggested in TTS. You get the super warp.
I think it just sends you to another part of the warp.
Or maybe back to real space.
That's probably more likely, in fairness. I miss the vortex missiles that Titans used to have.
Death Strikes, you still have them. Not in game, but they still have them.
Deathstrike missiles are in game.
Deathstrike Vortex missiles are a thing, canonically.
Yeah, you can use them on Apocalypse missile launchers. Why are the robots, like the ones featured in the Iron Warriors and the Thousand Sons and the Horus Heresy, not used on either side anymore?
They broke, probably.
Probably.
Why didn't they just make more? I think that's the question.
Well, they are. The Mechanicum has them.
Yeah, the Castellan robots.
Yeah, Battle Automata was... Okay. Well, Battle Automata was always kind of a Mechanicum thing. The Iron Warriors just had some because, and the Thousand Sons had special psychic ones. So that's why no one else has them, at least outside of the Thousand Sons of the Iron Warriors. I don't know why the Iron Warriors don't, unless they became obliterators or something, or demon engines, I don't know.
Probably demon engines.
Yeah, more than likely.
Something about the Emperor dying. Why can't this... that's a question about my personal legion. Would you argue that Russ couldn't have had the potential... Could have had a potential brotherhood with the Lion, Magnus, and Engron?
If he hadn't fought all of them. Russ never got along with Magnus, as far as we can tell. I think if Angron hadn't had the nails, he and Russ would have got on really well. And it is said that Lion and Russ got on better by the end of the Heresy, because...
Yes. Whoop, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were exclaiming something. After the Lion and the Wolf incident, it seemed to just sort of calm down. Yes, Russ ended up getting stabbed by Lion, who wanted to end their duel through Dulan, but that sort of buried the hatchet. And then it's known that when Lion died, quote unquote, Russ was upset about it. So I think the two of them by the end did get on.
What I miss?
Huh. Oh, this is an interesting one.
Not
in the Sanctus Reach novel, minor spoiler, when the Space Marine chapter Obsidian whatevers were under siege by an Orc-Wa, they awoken all of the Dreadnoughts they had available. And in the perspective of the Dreadnoughts, his mind wandered and hallucinations on his battles in the past, seeing his old war buddies and believing that they were fighting in the end times until Space Marines reminded him on the situation at hand. My question is, do all Dreadnoughts go insane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially, yes, they do go insane.
I think insane might be the wrong word. They kind of go senile, I think, is is senile the right word?
Let's put it this way. If they're loyalists, they go senile. If they're chaos ones, they go batshit insane.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, without a doubt. Has there ever been a battle where the Imperial Guard regiments surprisingly kicked the asses of traitor Marines?
Yes, Gaunt's Ghosts, I think, beat the Iron Warriors in an engagement.
Technically, that was that one fight the Imperial Guard did against Chaos Space Marines where Cypher showed up and helped them.
Cypher Ex Machina doesn't count.
Sure it does. Are there any Imperial Guard regiments that specialize in dealing with chaos?
The Cadian shock
no.
troopers.
Yeah, Cadians technically.
Yeah, there's actually a few. There's technically the stormtroopers that work with the Grey Knights. But that's it.
Wait, what? That's a thing?
Oh, the Inquisitorial
Yeah,
stormtroopers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were all just put to death afterwards because human expendable.
Who keeps digging through things?
Aren't they the Militarum Tempestus?
The Militarum Tempestus also do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was a case of, I know the general populace doesn't know that chaos is a thing, and even less so that chaos Astartes are a thing. I didn't realize quite how widespread that mythos went.
Well, in regards to the majority of Imperial Guard regiments nowadays, they just refer to the trade legions as just the heretic Astartes. They don't call them Chaos Space, they just call them heretics.
Yeah, actually, you are right on that one. Yeah, they're not supposed to know names like Mortarion and Angron, but
apparently a lot of them know who Mortarion is and that. According to Dark Imperial Guard regiments say, "Oh, we fought Mortarion's forces." I was like, how the hell do you know his name? He's just known as the leader of the traitor Primarch, or traitor Astartes. So,
I mean, it's kind of a weird thing of like, it used to be, oh, you're on the word of a traitor Primarch, you're fucking dead. See Armageddon and Fenris. But
it's more like if you see one in this case.
no, the ones on Armageddon were put to death for being on the same planet.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely changing.
It made Logan Grimnar a very unhappy bunny.
And
I like this question. Is there a reason Remleiz wears a dinosaur skull to hide his developing avian features due to his prolonged worship of Tzeentch?
I don't worship thee, I worship Malice. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
Malice is the one true chaos god. Praise be his name.
What Warhammer 40k book/audio dramas do you recommend? For me, the easiest one would have to be Master of Mankind and Fulgrim. Those are my two favorites.
In regards to audio dramas, Butcher's Nails, that's an amazing one. So's Censure, that's also a really good one.
Hell's Reach, Commissar, Baneblade.
You're eating something, aren't you?
Yeah. And I'm sure there's another one I was thinking of.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be the only one to say that. No, I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. I'm done.
What, pineapple pizza?
He probably had some fucking pineapple pizza.
I had chicken and bacon, thank you.
Bacon pineapple. He's
No.
just hiding that fact.
No pineapple, that would be disgusting. But yeah, Hell's Reach, Baneblade, and Commissar are three of the best ones I've read. I know there's another one, but the name's going out of my head right now. That's your cue to talk.
Meh. Is the black carapace visible? And how does it look under the marine's skin itself?
It looks like a bin bag. Essentially. It's literally like a vinyl sheet.
Yeah, I always saw it as kind of like a bulletproof vest.
It's literally like... It says it's like a thin plastic film.
Yeah. Yeah, so they probably look silly in it.
The thing is, does it actually show up? Because obviously it's under skin, isn't it?
It's implanted under skin. It will show up if the marine suffers like flesh wounds. But that's about it, really.
If you were forced to fight in 40k, who would you choose to lead you into battle? You cannot choose yourself.
I don't know. Nor do
Saint
I.
Celestine.
Well, can't we pick, the surviving Primarch? Pick Gilliman.
The thing is, you need someone. Bear in mind that everyone in this, assuming in this that will jump over, is human. So you kind of need a good human general because you're going to be in the guard, son.
Creed.
Hey, you're going to be in the guard.
Well, I don't have to be in the guard. I'm part of the Inquisition. I can do what the fuck I want.
Yeah, and I remember the Earth cast. Jog on.
Hey, you said jog on.
yes, but we can conscript Xenos. You guys do it, fair enough.
That's not conscription. That's integration. Difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you do with the crew is enslaving.
No, it's the Vespid are definitely enslaving.
Okay, the Vespid I can't argue with. I can't argue with the Vespid, but shut up about the crew. For fuck's sake, it's not the way.
No, crew lives matter!
Not saying
Hashtag
they don't.
free the crew.
They're mercenaries, for God's
sake.
Oh,
yeah. Mercenaries that you watch die on a planet and then saved because you knew there
are races that aren't us. Without telling
but they're
us.
Forced into slavery for you.
Hashtag hive ship sex.
Alright. If you give Khorne blood and skulls, what human body parts do you give to the other gods? I am not... We're going to move on from that question.
Fun enough. Again, going back to Farsight Crisis of Faith, a sacrifice to Tzeentch actually involves fingers.
I can see that.
You cut fingers off, arrange them in a concentric circle, and then you light them on fire like candles.
Okay.
There you go. Interesting fact. Tzeentch has her fingers.
Tzeentch has a finger fetish. I'm not going to mention the other things that would be given to certain other gods.
Nurgle has a foot fetish.
Probably.
Moving on.
Actually, no, Nurgle will probably be eyes. because he's got a thing about having things with one eye, so probably would be eyes.
Yeah, he does. Okay. Where do you guys think Jagatai Khan is in the 40k timeline, and do you think he'll return? I do think he'll return.
Yes.
He's currently fighting non-stop in Kimura in this massive pit fight that hasn't stopped for 10,000 years.
Oh, I thought that was a race.
Whatever. It's death race. It's Destruction Derby. Moving on.
What has happened to Kento Sicarius now that his ship is lost in the warp?
He dead,
It'll
son.
be back. It'll be
dead.
back. It's Kato freaking Sicarius.
He dead.
Is it actually confirmed that he's dead?
He dead. He dead.
As in, is it stated he dead, or is it one of those implied but not confirmed things?
He dead.
Okay. Anyway,
Hopefully.
why did the Dark Eldar, try to kill Angron rather than Felgrim? That's actually a good one.
Because with Fulgrim, Eldred Ulfred tried to thought he could reason with him. Then he realised that Fulgrim had the Lair Blade and realised, oh shit, no, he's too far gone. Kill him. It's just the Emperor's children basically killed all the Eldar there, apart from Eldrad. And with Angron was there, and the Eldar were like, now's our chance, we can stop this shit happening.
Actually, I learned quite recently the Eldar tried, or were going to destroy the Kilexis temple of the Assassinorum, and then didn't because it would have cost them Craftworld and Latok to do it. So it was a vision of the Farseers of Latok, like, I am fucking terrified of the Kilexis temple, I want it gone. So let me see how to do it. Oh shit, this will cost us the Craftworld to do it. Never mind. Abort.
Worth it.
Funny thing, I always end up confusing Alatok with Eandon.
Latok is the one with all the rangers, I think.
Alatok is blue with yellow helmets, and Eandon is yellow with blue helmets.
Yeah, actually it is, you're right.
Eldar paint schemes are stupid.
I don't think of them by paint scheme, I think of them by defining unit. So like, Eandon is the Wraith one, and Simhan is the Jetbike one, and Alatok is the Ranger one.
Simon the Jetbike. Like Simon's cat.
Eldar are dumb. Okay, moving on. If you guys could design a new orc unit, what would you do?
Oh god.
What would you make? I would make a giant cybernetic version of a gargantuan T-Rex.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Scarboys from Space Marine back, like the ones with the shield doors. They were fun.
Squeakhawk
They were
riders.
fun. Squeakhawk riders.
Yeah, Squeakhawks are a real thing. They're like the size of like a small plane. And
Oh, no, this next question is just for you.
Oh no.
To everyone, how do you feel about the Chaos God Malice?
Meh.
praise be his name.
It's not canon.
He is canon. We've proved this.
Nope.
I showed you the book passage from
Nope.
a book that came out
Harris-
this
Harris-
fucking year.
Nope. Nope.
You cannot
Just
get
because
more
it's
canon
written
than
doesn't
this
make it
year.
canon.
It's canon.
Easy. I deny your reality and substitute my own.
Oh, thank you, Adam.
I love Mythbusters. I actually got to meet him. That was cool.
Yeah, he's not as cool as the Walrus.
In the Search of in the Search of Knowledge series on Remleiz's channel, will Michael's existing backstory still be canon?
It should be.
Yeah,
I
probably.
mean, if your plot can actually support the bullshit I wrote down, then yeah. But my plot is a little bit bullshit. But if you need it changing, I'll change it.
It's 40k. Bullshit reigns supreme.
Take your
Yeah,
point.
I mean, they can carve out a Tyranid Hive Fleet and stick a Titan in there. Anything goes, in my opinion.
A hive ship, not a hive fleet. They didn't get an entire hive fleet.
Yes, entire Hive Fleet. They fucking took the whole thing and put Titans in them.
It was just the one ship.
Well, let's give the writer, some ideas. Now do it to an entire Hive Fleet.
You do realize that we had this discussion earlier of like why they don't take fan suggestions anymore.
Except for, like, TTS, where they have made references to them.
Yeah.
yeah, that video which previewed the Mortarion model was just basically,
A TTS short.
Yeah.
It was definitely. I have to take my hat off to the GW marketing team because, dear God, they've got good.
Because they realise, oh shit, the fans are doing it better. Speaking of which, I still love that trailer. You know the Wrath of Magnus trailer. I still love the fact that Eliphas and the other TTS guys managed to do their version of it with the TTS voices. So yeah, TTS Magnus.
Here's the funny thing: I've never listened to the original.
Have you not?
No, when the original trailer came out, I watched it, but I couldn't put my earphones in at the time because I think I was like in between lectures or something, so I didn't get a chance to stick my earphones in. So I just saw it. I was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" But I never listened to it. And then the dubbed one came out, and I was like, oh, I'll give this a listen, and then I actually listened to it.
So it sounds professional.
Awesome. How does a society that worships Slaanesh, like the snake people Fulgrim destroyed, function?
Yeah. The same way any society does.
Like ancient
still
Greece.
Progressive with developing science and such, which, with the occurring nightmarish drug problems, murder orgies.
Okay. Think of it this way. Think of ancient Greek society where basically the classy thing to do, for the upper class is like, do you know what we're going to do? We're going to go and take in an orgy. Because that was, the classy thing back in ancient Greece. So it'd probably just be like that. So the society is just ancient Greece. Everyone's wearing togas and fucking each other in the streets and then doing a shit ton of drugs and alcohol.
Actually, it depends upon the planet. A lot of times, Slaaneshi worship is seen more as artistic, with giant museums everywhere. People
Greece.
seeking the act. Yes, people seeking the acts of perfection versus the overindulgent side of Slaanesh. But there will be nightclubs that do that sort of thing.
Basically, it'll be one or two things. Either be ancient Greece or it'll be like Camorra.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, as regards to Leia, which is the race that they're referring to, Fulgrim wasn't that... Literally, the reason Fulgrim went and attacked them was they claimed to be perfect. That's it.
Fulgrim
Well,
offended.
they insulted his version of perfection.
By calling themselves perfect.
Yep.
And the ironic thing is, he now claims he's perfect, and what does he look like? He looks like a fucking Leia.
So true.
I wonder if the
Will there
irony is
ever
lost
be
on
a
him.
group? Will there ever be a group of Space Marines on the Tau side?
No.
Maybe a Black Shield or two, but that'd be about it.
A chapter will never defect, and I find it highly unlikely that any Astartes will defect. Highly unlikely.
Question for Remleiz. Was your TTS character banished into the war by the Was your character being banished by Magnus Canon?
No, because I'll be appearing in the next TTS podcast.
Nice.
I won't say what it's about, but I'll just leave it at that. Though I will say this is probably... You know how everyone tends to leave cyberdongs in my comments or shit like that? It's going to birth a brand new fucking meme.
Oh, God.
Will the Grey Knights bring the hams? Yes, they will. Oh, did I tell you? Did I tell you guys about my my Grey Knight Paladin squad that I want to build?
Have they all got
No.
hams for weapons, like cartoon
Okay,
hams?
so I want them all to be Drago, because it's going to be Ordo Drago, and half of them are going to have hams.
That is beautiful.
I know. I'm trying to see if I
the
can
thing
get a
is-
whole bunch of Caldor Dragos.
The thing is, Alexis, make sure you paint one stupidly bright yellow just so you can say, here's the sun.
Yes.
And maybe put like a couple of snotling arms in one's beard. I have tiny men living in my beard.
Are you
You
guys
are
saying that
unbelievable.
ethereals are some kind of gene stealer cult?
We don't know.
Brain
There are a
worms.
lot of theories.
It's the brain worms.
Both Sanguinius and Felgrim are described as being very beautiful. If both entered in a beauty contest judged by you three, who would win? Felgrim.
Sanguinius, he's got the nice plumage.
Probably Sanguinius.
Oh, you guys are dicks! Yo, Felgrim's my girl. Like, I love her.
Fulgrim's my least favourite Primarch of them all. It wasn't really a fair contest.
Yeah, well, you're my least favorite Tau thing. I don't know. I have no idea where I'm going with that.
Yeah, that fell flat on its face.
Well, at least my armies are good.
Orcs.
I have orcs. I have 7,000 points of orcs.
Yes, but they're also one of my armies, so you can't just say my
No,
armies.
no. That's my orc army. You can't have it.
Look, also,
Mine is
I'll
the
have
new-
the Orc army then. No, none of you get it. There you go. Problem solved.
Nope. I have the new orcas. Their fleet is called We're Walking Here.
They mean we're walking here.
Yep. Could a human faction based on Rapture from Bioshock work? Actually, there is one based on that.
Is that?
Yes, there's from what I've read, there are 3 underwater worlds that one is the home planet of the Shaharidan, which are actually loyal to the Imperium and not immediately exterminated.
And not human.
Well, there was Tyran.
Well, we don't know if they're human or not. That's the thing. There's literally only like 3 sentences about them. But there is so much fan art.
The world of Tyran was also an underwater world. The research facility was underwater and heavily reinforced and protected from all the creatures before, the Nids came and ate everything.
Yep. Should you guys be worried about the Games Workshop? Should you guys be worried that Games Workshop is getting sued? No, I already made a video on this. That lawsuit is laughable at best.
I haven't even looked at it. It's not worthy of my time.
Yeah. And that is the end of the questions. If I didn't get to your question this time, please make sure to repeat it in the next episode. And if you want us to answer a question, please put question, then the question itself. It helps us find it very easily. Yeah.
Okay, so time for rants now. Who's got one?
I don't have a rant. I kind of went off on one earlier without intending to, but well, I've been off on probably 2 or 3 at this point. But,
Okay. All right. I got one. So a couple episodes ago, you guys accused me of being a power gamer just because I know meta and I play
I didn't.
good.
No, what I said.
Ever since that, I have gotten this one guy who commented on every single one of my armies ever, going all the way back to like my first battle report ever, saying that all of my armies were always overpowered and I should be playing for fun. So I want to put this to rest once and for all. Casual gaming doesn't mean that you don't play meta lists. It means that you just have fun. Me and my friends, who you see in the battle reports most of the time, we are having fun. We play at a much more competitive level than most people.
And that's absolutely fine. I think there's a difference between... I think this problem is that people just have put people in boxes. I'm guilty of this as well. What I consider casual and what others consider... We actually ended up...
Wait. The Tau has put things in boxes for the crew. Continue.
Anywho, what I consider casual is different to what you would, and we mentioned this. You mentioned this on Twitter as well. People have different perceptions of what casual is. The problem is, I think sometimes with armies like yours, which are you're playing for fun and you're playing in a way casually with highly competitive lists, people don't know where to draw the line between what is a casual game that's played for fun with competitive lists and what is a competitive game. That I think sometimes people just don't get the distinction, and I'm guilty of it because I don't know. I can't play competitively. It just doesn't appeal to me in the slightest to take a meta list or spam something. I can't bring myself to do it. So I could look at your battle reports and say, God, that I would never run that because that just feels wrong to run. But if that's what your meta and what your game group likes to play, then all power to you.
Actually, the ironic thing the biggest ironic thing is my latest game is where I get called Power Gamer by a lot of people, where I brought what's his name? I brought Gilliman and two Land Raiders and one Land Raider Terminus Ultra, which, if anybody knows the Land Raider Terminus Ultra, it's freaking garbage. Just hands down, the damn thing is just garbage. But anyway, I brought that along with the Sisters of Battle, and that's what they were complaining about. And my opponent, they never complained about my opponent's Dark Eldar list. He brought 50 to 60 Dark Lances, and I purposely brought tanks against him. So it was a who gets the first turn determines this game list.
And that is a type of game that I would consider to be a competitive scummy game, because I don't like that sort of game. But anyway, continue.
Oh no, it was so much fun. It was the Castellans of the Imperium versus Dark Eldar.
I mean, I've got a battle report coming out soon, which is...
And you need a better camera.
I'm aware of this. But it's Tau v Tau. And my opponent brought on Empire, I brought Enclaves. And he took a Yavara, a Barracuda, 3 Hammerheads and Long Strike. And I'm sure at a glance people will look at that and, oh my god, that's scummy as hell, particularly against someone like me. But what they forget to notice is that my opponent also deliberately took 3 squads of Fire Warriors and Anva on my request, and I took Velocity Trackers fucking everywhere to hard counter, well, not hard counter, but soft counter as best I could, because I didn't know what I was going to be facing or what I was going to be playing. So, yes, it's a case of sometimes, I don't know, people can look at lists at a glance and assume you're power gaming, or that you're spamming and scumming it, when you're not, and it might just be a thematic thing. Like, I play all battle suits. Some people might think that that's a bit scummy, even though, or at least last edition people would say it was scummy. But it's not. I play that way because it's Farsight Enclaves and I find that fun. And thematic. But anyway, yeah, you make a point.
For me, if the only way I don't have fun during a game is if I steamroll my opponent. For every battle report that goes up on my channel, I do about 4. Okay? There's a time when I went up against a competitive player, and most of my opponents, most of the people that I battle against, they want to battle me at my best. They don't want shitty lists, and I don't want to post shit lists when I talk about the Sisters of Battle, especially the Sisters of Battle, because they have been garbage their entire time, and I've been taking the same list since 4th edition. Granted, in 4th edition, I was just using Space Marines because I couldn't afford Sisters, and it was last edition that I actually bought the Dreamforge minis and then actually got into a bunch of Sisters.
But anyway.
But anywho, it was one of those things where I've seen the evolution of this list go from being bad to okay to horrible to now extremely good. And people are giving me shit for it, and I'm just sitting here like, you know what? You want to give me shit for it? Go for it. I'm not going to stop playing this way, because the people that I play against, I tell to bring power lists. I tell them to bring something semi-competitive. I tell them to bring a themed list.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is fun.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I'm the same. When I've been discussing games with potential opponents, I've said, I'm not going to stop you taking something powerful. Bear in mind, however, that if you want this to be a fun battle report, there are some lists I will refuse to run, or that I cannot run because I will not proxy on YouTube. I will not proxy as best I can. And you know the way I play and you know the way I think is with the narrative in mind. It's the way I build my list. It's the way I play my games. If you want to take a power list and run me over on turn 1, by all means, do it. I'm not going to stop you. But that is not going to be an enjoyable battle report for people to watch. So it is one of those things, it does help if you actually, with your opponent, communicate. I think that's the main thing, just communicate with your opponent. Do what you and your opponent want to do at whatever level. Apart from tournament, and then, well, different rules apply.
The biggest thing is a lot of people love seeing those competitive games. They like seeing hard-hitting units because they don't want to buy the garbage units. Like last edition, Dark Eldar players ran into the problem of buying Mandrakes. Mandrakes were terrible. They were god-awful units that were just shit. Same with Necron players buying Blade ones. They were just unusably bad. But now, this edition, they're good, and that's cool. So, like, I like featuring some of the units that aren't good from last edition. Like, it's why I like the Land Raider so much. It can actually put up a fight.
Same with Vespid. Vespid is a proper sleeper unit right now. I mean,
it's really funny. One of my friends actually just went up against a Vespid, and he had no idea what it was. He was so confused, and he's been playing this game since 3rd edition. He was like, what the hell is this? And it was the funniest thing ever. He's like, is this a Rogue Trader model?
That's quite amusing. Yeah, I think there's definitely a thing that people in battle reports, I don't get great view counts on my battle reports, but I understand why. I'm a lore guy at the end of the day. But people will obviously look for powerful lists over thematic games, because like, unless you really do build a ridiculous narrative around your games, narrative games just feel like regular games with crappier units deliberately.
Crappy units and bad rules, like, and that's one of the biggest problems. I would personally love to do more narrative gameplay. Like, I want to do games where it's, hey, you have Black Legion, cool. I'm gonna grab Creed, a unit of Guard, a few tanks from Guard, and Sisters of Battle, and Space Marines to fight you. Why? Because I actually want this to be thematic. I want to do the final stand of Cadia. I want you to bring, like, the Chaos Forces in full. I want to have a really fun, proper game.
Yeah, and the missions are there to support that, mostly. Yep. But people don't always want to see it, because people... this is the problem. Well, it's not the problem. It's a concern. Is a lot of the... How do I say this? A lot of the gaming crowd, for want of a... For the sake of generalizing, don't care about the narrative. In the majority. It feels like, anyway. If you look at, like, the way... If someone's like, oh, I built my list this way, you're like, it's shit, why do you just swap this, and this for this, and this? Because that's better. It's like, but narrative, but narrow what?
Yeah, like, one of the things is plasma cannons. Plasma cannons on Sentinels last edition. I always ran my Sentinels with plasma cannons. I loved it. I thought it was the funnest thing ever, because the Sentinel could blow itself up.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I think it's one of those things that will probably, no matter what Games Workshop does, will never change. There will be a divide between the narratives and the gamers.
Filthy casuals. And with that, I think we're done, aren't we?
No, because I still have my rant.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God, you have a rant!
This is new.
It's nothing major. It's just in regards to the Black Library Special Edition books, because I bought a couple of them recently, because I've got the Special Edition of Resurrection, Heresian Wars, War on the Blade, Jane Czar, Fabius Bard Progenitor, and Black Legion. Now, 4 of those books have really nice covers and really nice spines. Like, Resurrection's got the big Inquisition symbol on it, War on the Blade's got the Grey Knight's shield, Jane Czar's got a whole bunch of Eldar glyphs, Fabius Bard's bounded human skin, and Black Legion just has Black Legion written in huge gold letters on the spine. It just looks really out of place, and it's horrible! It's absolutely horrible! Because you've got all these really nice artistic spines, and you just got Black Legion, 140,000, boom!
Well, it's just as disappointing as the Black Legion in general.
Oh, snap.
Ew.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't really have a rant left. It was just with this. Okay, people who don't like Age of Sigmar, turn off now. Quickly leave because Age of Sigmar is getting its General Handbook Mark II, and
yes, garbage. Free the crew.
The reason I bring it up is because 40k is a lot more similar to Age of Sigmar these days, and unless you really give 10,000 shits about the plot, why are you not trying it? Yes, it's got some systems that need a fixed cough static wound rolls, but I could have waited till I actually coughed there, that would have been better dramatic effect. But seriously, if you are bothered about AOS's game mechanics, why? at this point. It's the same damn systems. The Psychic phase is the same as the Magic phase. Hero Wars are the same. It's just a few things that have changed that need probably bringing into line. But anyway, beside the point. At this point, just try it. Unless you really give that much of a damn about the plot. Honestly, it's worth it.
Okay, I'll tell you why I don't like it. I don't like fantasy. I like sci-fi fantasy.
Okay, setting and plot. Similar idea.
That's literally
if your reason for not playing it was game mechanics and strictly game mechanics, and you like,
but you play 40k.
But if you play 40k and you will not play OS strictly based on its mechanics, you are being a hypocrite.
Yeah. Yep. I got nothing else to say to that. Yeah. Also, I finished all 10 of my Dreadnoughts. They are all magnetized now. Yay.
So I think now that we come to the end of today's episode, I believe, don't you?
Yes.
So, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed this edition of the podcast. As always, if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer, leave them in the comments section below. Until then, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This is Michael from Tactica Imperialis.
I'm Alexis. Love me.
And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.